Hello there guys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to discuss DLCs, notably my top 5 DLCs for Cities Skylines. So the reason I'm doing this is that we've had some really great content added to the game over the years, and it's important to sometimes sit back and take stock of all this good stuff that's been added and really just see how far our cities have come. So this kind of links into a point that I made on my recent 5 things I don't want to see in Cities Skylines 2 video. So I'll link that in the description down below. If you haven't seen it, please go and check it out. But I kind of discussed DLCs in there as well, so yeah, just a nice interesting link in there. Cool. So anyway, let's dive in. A few housekeeping points to make quickly. So these are obviously my personal favorites for the reasons I note in this video. I'm sure there'll be some different views, but I'd love to get your thoughts on your favorites in the comments below. I'm also discussing pure DLCs here, so there's no content creator packs included in this discussion, although I'll probably make another video on content creator packs specifically, because there's been some great stuff there. So please make sure that you're subscribing to the channel so you don't miss that. Cool. So anyway guys, without further ado, let's dive in, shall we? So let's start things off with a good one, and that is Park Life. So released in 2018, this is one of the ultimate DLCs for the detailer that lives inside of all of us. Park Life allowed us to introduce brand new park districts into our cities in the form of theme parks, zoos, city parks, and obviously nature reserves. So this absolutely transformed the landscape of our cities, allowing us to move away from the standard individually placed park assets that sit in the base game, and allowed us to breathe new life and attractions into those sort of everyday areas that sit around our cities. So for me, I absolutely love building theme parks and zoos in particular. There's so much you can do with these zones, and they can really make a downtown beachfront or any area within your city pop. So we obviously get some additional buildings with this as well, such as the park maintenance depot, the sightseeing bus depot, and the hot air balloon tours, and we also get 5 new maps. So overall this is a really good DLC in terms of content, and for me it's an absolute must buy. I use these assets in every city that I build, so yeah, I would definitely recommend this one. Then we move on to the Industries DLC, which also dropped in 2018. So this allowed us to move away from the vanilla industry builds into 4 new modular industrial zones that need to be carefully managed and maintained to ensure additional resource and ultimately profits flood into our cities. So on top of the area specific buildings that we get, which would be our farms, forestry, oil and ore, we also get handed a new cargo airport, a post office, and a post sorting facility. So although these items may be scarcely used in our cities, they do provide some fantastic detailing opportunities here and there, which is really good. We also again get 5 new maps, which is fantastic, more optionality. But yeah, the main sort of feature here would be those industry zones. So I in particular love building the forestry and the farm industries. I think there's just so much in there, especially when you're dealing with sort of old town vibes. So yeah, I absolutely love the Industries DLC. I think it's been a great addition to the base game. And then we move on to 2017's Green Cities, and this is probably the largest DLC to hit our stores in terms of additional assets added to the game. Now I could be wrong with that, so please correct me if I am down in the comments below, but I believe we received around 350 total new assets with Green Cities, including the option for eco-friendly residential and commercial zoning, which I'm a particular fan of. I use this in all the cities that I build. So on top of the residential and commercial assets, we are also given many new service buildings, such as the recycling centre, so we can move away from landfills. We get eco water outlets to reduce the pollution. We get solar and geothermal energy, and so much more. It's just such a great DLC. We're also provided with new office specialisation in the IT cluster assets, and these really enhance the feel of our downtown zones. And we also get some additional education as well, so just highlighting how big this DLC was. But we're handed a new elementary school, high school, and a university, and I for one love all three of these assets, even though I probably wouldn't use the university as much as I could do. Yeah, I think all the assets bring a lot to the game. So for me, again, this is one of the must-have DLCs. It expands so much in terms of content, and we get 3 new maps, so everyone's happy. And up next, this one might be a bit controversial, but back in 2019, we went back to school with the Campus DLC. And I, for one, was very thankful to dust off my uniform and dive back in. So the Campus DLC allows us to move away from the static university assets provided in the earlier game, and introduces 3 new modular campus areas focused around trade, liberal arts, and university builds. So as city planners, we have to navigate the complex workings of our town's educational system, ensuring we have enough space and value for our Sims to meet their educational needs. So for me, the campus districts just brighten up our towns and cities. They allow us to create these expansive educational hubs for all our citizens to enjoy. And I think if you love this as much as I do, you'll agree it's a great addition to the game. So on top of the educational facilities, we also get some varsity sport assets, which can work in conjunction with the campus areas, acting as dedicated sports venues for our university town. So yeah, overall a fantastic DLC for me. And again, 5 new maps, so everyone wins. And finally, but by certainly no means least, one of the newest DLCs to be added, and my word, is it a good one. So 2022 saw plazas and promenades introduced, and finally allows us to provide a focus on our pedestrians. So we're now allowed to create bespoke zones within our cities where cars and other transport are unable to clog up our streets, allowing our people to roam freely, enjoying the new park and plaza assets that have been added to the game. And I think everyone who loves this DLC as I do will agree, the new plazas in particular, and the little sort of plaza assets that can sit across our roads, they're such a fantastic addition, and they make all of our sort of residential and other areas pop throughout our city. So yeah, really fantastic assets added. So with this, we're also provided 3 new what they call wall-to-wall building sets, which are included within district specializations. So these would be office zones, high density residential, and high density commercial. And again, I'm sure anyone who enjoys playing this DLC as much as I do will agree that these new assets bring to life any new area that we're building, and they can be used in such a variety of ways. You can stick these into any part of your town and they fit in so nicely. So yeah, on top of all of this, we're blessed with some other great assets within this DLC. So we get some new transport options, so we get a new metro hub, we get a bus hub, so some really cool stuff there. We also get a high capacity police station, fire and hospital assets, and new high capacity educational buildings all the way from elementary, high school and university. So yeah, some really great stuff with this DLC. And as mentioned previously with the other DLCs, we also get 5 new maps again. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be happy with this DLC because it just provides such a lot of additional content. So for me, one of the newer ones, but definitely one of my favorites, and one that I use in every city that I build. So that is it from me, guys. As I say, these are just my 5 personal favorite DLCs. But to be perfectly honest, I think all the DLCs have a really important place within the game now. It was actually really difficult narrowing it down to my 5 favorites. I actually had a list of several more that could have been within that favorite bracket, but I narrowed it down to these 5 because they're just ones that I use the most regularly or have some of my favorite assets within the content. So yeah, I'd love to hear from all of you what your top 5 would be. Does it differ to mine? Do you have any that you really don't like, or any that you just haven't purchased yet? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get a conversation going on this and see what the community thinks. As I mentioned as well, I'm probably going to make a video on my top 5 content creator packs, so please make sure you're hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. Again, the content creator stuff that's come out through the game has been fantastic, so yeah, definitely want to make sure that we're including that as well. And yeah, that's it. So I will leave it there, guys and girls. So as always, have a great evening, morning, afternoon, night, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you very, very much as always, and I will catch you on the next one.